What's up? How's everybody doing today? Today I'm going to be talking about Mayo Clinic and the analysis and critique on it. I've gotten the opportunity to do extensive research on Mayo Clinic, and I've learned quite a few things that are extremely interesting that you guys may want to hear. So I would love to start off just by the overview of Mayo Clinic. So Mayo Clinic is a nonprofit organization that combines with clinical care, education, and research. They are located in Rochester, Minnesota. It is very close to my heart because my sister was born there, my older sister. And their institutional mission is inspiring hope and promoting health through integrated clinical practice, education, and research. You know, as we continue to kind of go down this presentation, it is pretty evident that they are very strategic about everything that they do, and not only are they strategic about it, they do stand on their morals, principles, and values, and that is why they do so well. So Mayo Clinic operates across multiple campuses and regional clinics, and they offer a wide range variety of different things. The biggest thing is they are a stable, consistent, heavily reliable clinic that a lot of people trust wherever it's at. If you have a Mayo Clinic nearby, whether that's in Texas, Arizona, Rochester, you know that is a clinic that you can rely on and trust heavily. And, you know, we're trying to figure out why is that a thing. It is considered as not only one of the most respected clinics in the United States, but, you know, more so the world, which is pretty impressive. And it always kind of struck me because they're in the Midwest. But yeah. All right. Next up. So the core values. Mayo Clinic's central belief is the needs of the patient comes first. That's a big thing. They value the importance of the patient, and they do whatever it takes to give them the best experience possible. That kind of goes to their values. Their core values also with that is respect, integrity, compassion, healing, teamwork, and innovation. What they do is when they have a new employee, they install these core values with, you know, their practices and all the things that they do in the process of their training. And that builds on each other, and over time, those are the basic values that Mayo Clinic lives by. So, next up, we're going to be talking about the socialization process. So the pre-arrival stage, kind of what I was talking about in that last presentation, is when they bring new recruits in, you know, they give their expectations and their norms really early. They set the standard and say, hey, this is how we do it at Mayo Clinic, and you guys are going to have to conform to it. That can be a beneficial thing, but that could also be a negative thing. There's a lot of different cultures, races, identities that walk into Mayo Clinic, and, you know, whether they have certain cultural backgrounds, certain religious backgrounds, when they step foot into a corporation that is as well respected and as big as Mayo Clinic, all of their morals are dropped. So that can be something that is very detrimental, but for the most part, you know, being considered one of the highest respected clinics in the world, there's not much bending that comes with that. Their encounter stage. Orientation opens the door to collaboration, integration, and social standards. So a big thing with Mayo Clinic, as I learned on this research process, is they do a really good job with collaboration, working together. There's never one person that's at work. It's extremely beneficial, especially for the higher up decisions that are made, because people can kind of, you know, brainstorm and think things through and have the opportunity to really gain an understanding on what is right from Mayo Clinic, rather than having one person saying, hey, we're doing this and that's that. So, and then we're going to get into the metamorphosis stage. So the employees, they value and internalize Mayo's core values, and then they implement them into their personal beliefs and standards. So the biggest thing is there is a base of what Mayo Clinic requires, whether it's core values and principles, and, you know, in order to have that healthy balance of not just a bunch of people that are, or a bunch of employees that are, you know, moving cookie cutter, vanilla, as they say, they are able to, bring in their personal beliefs and their standards, and Mayo Clinic is extremely open about that. So next up, cultural strengths and risks. So the biggest thing, and I've kind of talked about it a little bit, is their unity. Their unity is important. Their strengths, the purpose. They have a very strong mission, and they're extremely consistent and reliable on their patient care. They say that they're going to be doing something, and they stand on it. And that comes from years and years of consistency, and it all starts at the beginning with their training, and they do a phenomenal job with that. Now, the things that I kind of saw as weaknesses, I kind of brought it up a little bit earlier, is their groupthink. So whenever you do have a collaborative effort on some things, and you have a high standard for a corporation like Mayo Clinic, it's extremely hard to have your own values and beliefs enlightened. So, a lot of creative geniuses, a lot of people that are extremely smart, have their beliefs and standards suppressed, which can be extremely unfortunate. But they are aware that if you are going to be working for a clinic like Mayo Clinic, nobody is bigger than the program. But most importantly, you have to understand that it's a bigger picture that they're looking at with their mission. Their strong identity, Mayo Clinic, can be extremely overwhelming for people. I got the opportunity to talk to a person that actually did his training to become a doctor at Mayo Clinic. It can be very draining, for what I have been told, due to just kind of the high standards. You feel like you always have to be on top of your work. You feel like everything that you're doing is being monitored. You feel like maybe you're not doing the right thing with certain things, which can lead to burnout if you are not taking care of yourself. So, really prioritizing that's important, but that can also be a negative just with the amount of respect that they have in the game. Next up, leadership. So their leadership is unlike other clinics. It's multidisciplinary teamwork. They have a lot of shared decision making, but most importantly, they are always making decisions as a collective, and that is extremely important in the process of growing a clinic as big as that. And they've had these morals and standards and guidelines for their leaders, and it has essentially trickled down into all of their workers and their employees, whether that's janitorial work or their nurses, their doctors, whatever. They all have that teamwork bond, and that is why they are extremely strong. This aligns with Theory Y that we have learned here in organizational behavioral theory, that employees are self-motivated. They seek responsibility when they feel like they are appreciated, valued, and their work is actually being put to use. And just their values on collaboration is phenomenal. All right. Leadership critique. I think that the fact that they have a lot of people, they have a lot of diversity in their decision making, which is extremely important. And their employees are pretty notable, respectful, powerful people. Their limitations, in my opinion, is that having team-based decisions can slow down things, where they might have an idea, but then somebody may sway it the other way because they may feel like it's not beneficial for their mission. And that could be extremely frustrating, especially for employees and patients that they want change immediately, and that can be a struggle for sure. Now, to wrap this up, I just kind of want to break down. I found a lot more on why they are successful than not. And the biggest thing is, their values and their behaviors is why, and they stand on these values daily, and they have for over 50 years, and that's why they are amazing, and they're going to continue to, go on that uphill exponential growth in their power in the clinic world. I think their culture is phenomenal. Their willingness to collaborate with each other, that is a big reason on why, you know, they are able to build. But then most importantly, their leadership. Their leadership is really well. They do a really good job with leadership. They, you know, collaboratively. They don't have one person that is up top, and that's a big reason on why it works really well for them. And then also, they have a clear, consistent mission with their patients. So a lot of what I've been talking about has essentially been about what's going on inside the building in terms of hierarchy, leadership, and just employment. But the biggest thing is they have values for their patients, and they give top-notch results consistently. And that is because of the efforts and work that they put into their employees. So, in conclusion, having great loyalty, having great leadership, collaboration, and just having a clear mission and standing on it. And it may not, you know, show up after 1 year, 2 years, but just kind of over time is how you build a very strong organization, especially in a prominent space like the clinic space. So I really appreciate you guys a lot for tuning into my slideshow, and I hope you guys learned a thing or two about the Mayo Clinic. I didn't think that I would be extremely interested in researching this, but I learned a lot. So I thank you guys so much. Take care. Have a good night.